The UHS Valiant Dawn slid out of FTL with a shimmer that rippled across the black. Stars stretched, then snapped back into sharp pinpoints. Commander Ryland Kane watched them settle from the viewport of the observation deck. Ahead, the heart of the Orion Arm blazed, a colossal Dyson-wreathed star wrapped in silver plates and luminous cables. "That's intimidating," Captain Ilara Voss murmured beside him. Her voice carried the calm tone of someone used to keeping a crew steady even when the universe felt impossibly big. Kane's jaw tightened. "It's supposed to be." The Council's seat of power was no city. It was a monument. Planet-sized rings orbited in perfect harmony. City spheres floated between them, glinting like diamonds. Trade convoys streamed in neat lines, each ship dwarfed by the structures surrounding it. And beyond it all loomed the shadow of the Virex Prime Citadel, a black spire so immense it seemed to eat starlight. For a moment, Kane felt like the boy he'd once been, watching his first launch from a colony dome. Wonder. Fear. Determination. All at once. "You ready for this?" Voss asked. Kane forced a faint smirk. "Diplomacy? Sure. Being paraded in front of civilizations thousands of years older than us? Less so. You've stared down pirates and insurgents who wanted your head. This is just talking." "Talking," Kane said dryly, "can start wars." They left the viewport and entered the ship's command deck. Crew members moved with quiet urgency, technicians checking comm relays, security officers rehearsing protocols. The Valiant Dawn had been built for diplomacy but armored like a warship just in case. Humanity had learned that lesson early. Envoy Merrick Chin, the head of Earth's diplomatic mission, was waiting. Trim, composed, eyes sharp with political calculation, Chin looked every bit the man who'd spent 2 decades navigating human politics. "Kane," Chen greeted. "First impressions matter. Remember, we're here to show restraint, intelligence, and respect. The old species see us as reckless. Don't confirm it." Kane met his gaze. "Respect goes both ways." Chen's lips twitched, almost a smile but not quite. "It doesn't yet. We're trying to change that." The corridor leading to the shuttle bay was alive with quiet tension. Crew saluted as Kane passed. Some offered tight smiles, others worried glances. Word had spread, this wasn't just another trade negotiation. This was humanity's first full seat at the Galactic Council. The shuttle ride was brief, cutting through lanes of alien craft, living bioships, crystalline spires with thrusters, angular metallic cruisers. As they descended toward the council hall, Kane took in the architecture, a cathedral of impossible scale, its walls woven from light and dark matter scaffolding. Inside, the chamber stretched like an inverted planet. Seats formed concentric tiers around a gravity-neutral core where delegates floated. Holographic banners shimmered above each race's section, symbols, colors, languages layered into an elegant chaos. Humanity's banner, Earth encircled by the 13 stars of the United Human Systems, looked small, almost fragile among them. Kane and Voss followed Chen to their designated platform. As they passed, some delegates watched with curiosity, others with open dismissal. A few whispered, translator implants turning alien clicks and hums into sly remarks. Younglings. Impulsive primates. They still believe fire makes them mighty. Kane kept his expression unreadable, though his fists itched to clench. When the session began, the hall quieted under a shifting pulse of light. A crystalline being shaped like an angular tree unfurled fractal limbs and spoke in shimmering tones. "Order is called. The Dominion of Virex will address the gathering." Kane felt the air, or whatever simulated it here, change. The great doors opened. Overlord Zyrex entered. He was vast, easily 3 meters tall, his silhouette layered in obsidian plates that pulsed faintly with internal bioluminescence. His mandibles clicked in slow, deliberate rhythm. The scent of ozone and something sharp, like metal and blood, seemed to follow him. His eyes were black voids rimmed with a dull, predatory glow. The room reacted without a sound. Delegates stiffened. Some lowered their heads. Fear radiated like heat. Zyrex stopped in the center of the chamber, and turned his gaze toward the human delegation. "So," he said. The translator rendered his voice deep and jagged, like stone breaking underwater. "The pray come to the table." Chin inclined his head carefully. "We come as equals, to seek peaceful understanding with all council members." The overlord's laugh was low and cruel. "Equals? You breed on a handful of worlds. You field ships that crumble against a single Dominion frigate. Equality is an illusion whispered to prey before they are consumed." A hush rippled across the hall. Some delegates shifted uncomfortably, others looked amused. Kane felt the weight of 100 alien eyes on him. Chin started to reply, but Xyrix's gaze pinned Kane instead. "You," the overlord hissed. "The one with the soldier's stance. Speak. Do you kneel before the Dominion? Do you accept your place beneath the claw?" Kane felt the sting of every word. This was calculated, humiliation before the entire council. He heard Voss inhale beside him, sharp and warning. Kane spoke anyway. "Humanity kneels to no tyrant." The translator carried his voice into the vast chamber, clear and unshaken. Silence fell. It was the silence before an avalanche. Xyrix's mandibles flared wide. His bioluminescent plates brightened with sudden heat. "Bold." His tone had shifted, amusement laced with threat. "Do you know the weight of what you have said?" Kane didn't break eye contact. "I know exactly who I'm speaking to." A whisper slid into his earpiece from Chen's aide. "Commander, be careful, this could be too late." Xyrix spread his claws, and the hall's lights dimmed as though obeying him. "By the oldest law of the Dominion," he thundered, "those who refuse to kneel have chosen war." Gasps rippled outward in waves. Some species recoiled, others looked quietly thrilled. Chen went pale. "Wait, this is a misinterpretation of intent." "It is not," Xyrix said, voice iron. He refused. "Humanity has challenged the Dominion. The challenge is accepted." The overlord turned, black cloak unfurling behind him like smoke, and left the chamber without waiting for a reply. For several heartbeats, no one moved. Then the hall erupted, alien languages crashing over one another, translators chattering, news relays going live. Humans stood frozen under the storm. Chen rounded on Kane, voice low but sharp. "Do you realize what you've just done?" Kane forced himself to stay calm though adrenaline pounded in his ears. "I wasn't going to let him make us bow. He's declared war. He was always going to." Chen swallowed a retort, eyes burning with fury and fear. Voss stepped closer to Kane, her expression unreadable. "We'll need a plan, Commander. Fast." Kane turned his gaze to the massive doors where Xyrix had vanished. "Then we'd better make him regret asking for a fight." Far above, the banners of ancient empires shimmered like indifferent stars. Humanity's small, bright emblem flickered but did not dim. The council chamber emptied in chaos, a sea of alien delegates shouting into private comms or fleeing to deliver news. Humans remained in their seats, stunned by the overlord's parting words. Ryland Kane sat motionless, forcing his hands flat on the railing to keep them from shaking. He hadn't felt fear like this since the covert war on Titan Gate, but then, the enemy had been human. Envoy Marek-chan broke the silence first. "We're leaving. Now." His voice was tight but steady, his politician's mask slipping just enough to reveal alarm. Captain Ilara Voss leaned close to Kane. "He baited you. He knew exactly how to corner us." "I know," Kane said low. "I wasn't going to crawl for him." Voss gave him a sharp look. "Defiance is easy. Surviving it isn't." They followed Chen through a storm of languages and flashing holocasts. Reporters, organic and mechanical, angled recorders at the humans as they hurried toward the shuttle bay. Questions burst from translators. "Does humanity accept full-scale conflict? Will Earth surrender before the first shot?" Chen ignored them. By the time the Valiant Dawn cleared station traffic and jumped to secure comm range, Earth's leadership was already waiting. The main briefing room filled with blue light as the President and Joint Defense Council appeared as holograms. "Commander Kane," President Darren said without preamble. Explain. Kane stood at attention but did not flinch. Overlord Xyrix demanded our submission. I refused. According to Dominion custom, that triggered a declaration of war. You understood that? The defense minister cut in, incredulous. No, Kane said evenly. But kneeling wouldn't have saved us. The Dominion uses fear. We kneel, we lose sovereignty forever. They would demand more next year, and the next, until we're a protectorate at best, slaves at worst. The room went silent. Darren studied him for a long moment, his lined face unreadable. And now? Kane's throat was dry, but his voice held. Now we prepare to fight. Chin stepped in, anger simmering beneath his diplomatic calm. Madam President, war wasn't our mission. We came to build alliances. This, he shot Kane a glare, could destroy us. Voss spoke before Kane could. With respect, Envoy, we saw Xyrix's intent. He never planned peace. This was theater to remind the Council who rules through fear. Commander Kane didn't cause the war, he forced it into the open. The defense minister exhaled slowly. Intentions aside, the reality stands. The Dominion will come. President Darren straightened. Then we will not be caught unprepared. She turned her gaze to Kane. Commander, your record shows unconventional victories. We'll need that now. You're being reassigned to the Strategic Response Division as Senior Operations Planner. Effective immediately. Kane hesitated only a breath. Understood. The Valiant Dawn's war room came alive hours later. Tactical holograms mapped human-controlled space, Earth at the core, colonies scattered like fragile lanterns. Along the outer edges blinked red markers, likely routes for a Dominion advance. Each one looked like a blade pointed inward. Fleet Admiral Reese Hallberg joined by secure feed, voice graveled with long service. Our ships are fast but thin-skinned. The Dominion's destroyers outgun us 2-1. Their dreadnoughts are another class entirely. We can't win a line fight. Then don't fight one, Kane said. Hallberg's hologram raised an eyebrow. You have another plan? Kane tapped commands. The map shifted, showing asteroid belts, gas giants, narrow trade lanes. We hit them where they're heavy and clumsy. Sabotage supply lines, force them into ambush zones, turn colonies into traps if we must. Bleed them until the cost is too high. The Admiral considered this. Guerrilla tactics. Risky at this scale. Less risky than dying in formation, Kane said. Hallberg gave a slow nod. I'll recommend Ghost Flotilla projects. Civilian ships can be retrofitted with decoys and mines. But we'll need time. Buy it, Kane replied. News of the declaration spread faster than light. Kane spent sleepless hours reviewing feeds, riots in New Berlin, recruitment drives on Mars, panic buying on the outer colonies. A young tech officer entered the war room with a nervous salute. Commander, message from my family on Vega Prime. They're scared. Kane looked at the boy, couldn't have been more than 20. Tell them we're building defenses. Tell them we're not prey. The kid swallowed hard and nodded. When the door closed, Voss stepped in, arms folded. You're carrying this like it's only yours. It was my mouth that opened, Kane said quietly. Maybe. But everyone needed to see someone stand up. That matters. He rubbed tired eyes. It better. Voss studied him a moment. You believe we can win? Kane exhaled. I believe we can make them wish they'd chosen easier prey. 3 days later, intelligence arrived. A Dominion scout flotilla had breached the Proxima corridor, 3 heavy frigates with a supply hauler, likely probing defenses. Hallberg's message was blunt: intercept if possible. Show resistance early or the Dominion will assume total weakness. Kane reviewed the star charts. Proxima Bastion, an old mining hub orbiting a massive gas giant, was perfect for an ambush. Gravity wells there were unpredictable. Old mining rigs could be converted into explosive traps. Dangerous, but doable. He stood before the Fleet Council. We have one chance to prove we're not easy prey. We set the trap here. He highlighted the gas giant's unstable orbit and mining debris field. We'll hide strike ships in the rings. Use automated drones to mimic retreat, lure them in. Then collapse the field with grav charges and shred their escorts before they call reinforcements. A junior admiral frowned. Risky. If timing's off, our ships get crushed instead. War isn't safe, Kane replied. But fear cuts both ways. Make them cautious now, and we buy breathing room. Hallberg's hologram gave a decisive nod. Approved. Commander Kane, you'll lead the strike. Take the Valiant Dawn and whatever auxiliary ships you need. Kane didn't hesitate. Understood. Before departure, Kane visited the observation deck again. Earth glowed in the distance, a blue jewel behind defensive satellites and shipyards already burning with new construction. Voss joined him, silent for a long moment. You ever think we weren't ready for this galaxy? Kane smiled faintly without warmth. We weren't ready for the oceans either. Or flight. Or nukes. But we adapt. She gave a short laugh. Let's hope adaptation's fast enough. We'll make it be. As the Valiant Dawn aligned for jump, Kane sent a single encrypted message to the Defense Council. Engaging Dominion scouts at Proxima. We'll show them humanity isn't prey. Engines flared blue-white. The ship leapt to faster than light. Far away, in the dark throne halls of Virex Prime, a Dominion fleet commander knelt before Overlord Xyrix. The humans mobilized, my lord. They plan resistance. Xyrix's mandibles clicked in slow, satisfied rhythm. Good. Let them claw and bite. The hunt is sweeter when prey believes it has teeth. Yet behind the Overlord's glinting eyes, a thought flickered, small, cold, almost annoyed. This one, Kane, he didn't flinch. For a predator built on fear, the hint of unpredictability was never welcome. The Valiant Dawn emerged from faster-than-light with a faint tremor through its hull. Outside stretched the violet storms of the Proxima gas giant, lightning veins dancing across titanic clouds. Mining stations, long abandoned, hung in fractured orbits, skeletal rigs turning slowly, their metal frames creaking against gravity tides. A perfect graveyard. Commander Ryland Kane stood at the forward deck, eyes fixed on the chaotic ring debris. Status? Stealth net active, Lieutenant Mora replied. Her voice was calm but tight. Drone decoys deployed. Mining rigs armed with grav charges. Our ships hidden in the inner ring, heat signatures masked. Captain Ilara Voss stepped beside Kane, arms crossed. Scouts report Dominion flotilla 6 hours out. 3 heavy frigates, 1 support hauler. Frigates first, Kane said. If we cripple them fast enough, the hauler panics, maybe runs. If it doesn't, he left the rest unsaid. Voss nodded once. She'd fought enough to know what silence meant. The next hours passed in tension. The Valiant Dawn and its escort ships floated dark among asteroid fragments, reactors throttled low. Crews whispered instead of speaking. The entire system felt hushed, as if the stormy giant itself listened. Kane studied the tactical holomap, tracing approach vectors. He'd ordered drones to drift, simulating a fleeing convoy, an irresistible bait. But Dominion captains were predators. They'd test before striking. Voss broke the silence. You ever wonder why Xyrix wants us crushed so fast? Fear spreads better with an early kill, Kane said. Break one defiant world and the rest kneel. She watched him. We're betting everything on proving that wrong. That's war. His tone was flat, but his hands tightened behind his back. 4 hours later, sensors lit up. Contact! Morris snapped. Dominion ships exiting FTL. Bearing 075, closing fast. Holograms flared to life. 3 sleek frigates with curved carapace-like armor, crimson running lights glowing against the void. The supply hauler trailed behind, massive and slow, flanked by drone escorts. Signal intercepts? Kane asked. Encrypted, Mora replied. But they're scanning. Aggressive pattern. They're sniffing the bait, Voss muttered. Hold position, Kane ordered. No one fires until they're inside the rings. Minutes crawled. The Dominion ships fanned out, weapons humming faintly across the calm spectrum. The frigates moved like sharks circling prey, scanning the decoy drones. Frigates splitting, 2 toward the convoy, 1 sweeping wide, Mora said. Good, Kane murmured. They smell blood. The first drone convoy suddenly flared engines and bolted deeper into the ring field, exactly as programmed. The Dominion responded instantly. The lead frigates surged after the decoys, slipping between rocks and mining frames. The third frigate hung back, scanning for ambush. Kane felt his heart pound. Grav charges primed? Ready, Voss said. He waited until the 2 frigates reached the trigger line. Detonate. Mora's hands flew. Space tore itself apart. The abandoned rig shuddered as gravity imploders ripped open localized wells. Asteroids and metal beams lunged sideways, smashing into the 2 lead frigates. One vanished in a blinding flare as its reactor cracked. The other spun, armor peeling under the impact. Hit them! Kane barked. The Valiant Dawn and Hidden Strike ships roared to life, engines flaring, weapons pouring into the stunned frigates. Railguns ripped through carapace plating. Missiles carved deep, venting alien atmosphere into space. The second frigate fought back, beams slashing through the dark, shredding one human corvette in a white-hot instant, but it couldn't right itself in the debris field. Seconds later, a torpedo slammed its bridge. The ship went dark. Cheers erupted on the Valiant Dawn's comms, but Kane cut them off. Third frigate? Still outside the field, Mora said. It's pulling back. Wait. No, it's flanking. On the hologram, the last Dominion warship looped wide, avoiding the debris storm, lining up a shot directly on the Valiant Dawn. Brace! Voss shouted. Red lances of particle fire tore past the hull, one striking a nearby escort ship. The vessel exploded in a silent bloom of fire and shrapnel. Return fire! Kane ordered. The Valiant Dawn swung, rail batteries thundering. The Dominion frigate danced back, fast and precise, its armor glowing from glancing hits. It fired again. This time the shots raked the Valiant Dawn's flank, shaking the deck. Shields at 60! Mora yelled. Kane's jaw clenched. Voss, bring us closer. Force its nose into the ring debris. She shot him a sharp look but obeyed. The Valiant Dawn dove, weaving through tumbling rocks and shattered rigs. The Dominion frigate pursued, firing steadily, but every shot meant adjusting to unpredictable gravity tides. Now! Kane shouted. Voss triggered the last grav charges. A sudden well opened between the frigate and an iron-rich asteroid the size of a cathedral. The enemy's ship tried to correct but overcompensated. The asteroid slammed across its bow with catastrophic force. Armor peeled like paper. Finish it! Kane roared. The Valiant Dawn and escorts unleashed everything: ray guns, torpedoes, beam cannons. The frigate vanished in a fireball that sent wreckage tumbling into the gas giant's pull. The calm deck erupted with shouts, but this time Kane let it go. They had survived. Status on the hauler? He asked after the adrenaline eased. Mora scanned. It's running, sir. Full burn away from Proxima. Let it. Kane's eyes were cold. It'll tell them what happened here. Voss exhaled slowly. That was close. Close enough to count, Kane said. She looked at him for a long beat. You wanted them scared. He didn't answer. He didn't need to. Hours later, the war room filled again, patched into Earth and Fleet Command. Admiral Hallberg listened in silence as Kane gave the report. You ambushed 3 Dominion frigates and lived to tell it, Hallberg finally said. Losses? 2 corvettes destroyed, 1 frigate heavily damaged but salvageable, Kane replied. A fair trade, the Admiral said grimly. You just gave the Dominion a bloody nose. President Darren's hologram appeared next. Commander Kane, this victory changes the tone. Colonies are rallying. Recruitment spiked within hours of the news leak. You've bought time, and hope. Chen's face hovered in another window, unreadable but no longer openly hostile. You also put a target on humanity the size of Earth itself. Kane didn't flinch. It was already there. Now they know it's not an easy shot. The President studied him. Well done, Commander. Prepare for counterstrikes. The Dominion won't forgive this. Understood. When the call ended, Kane remained alone for a moment in the dim war room. Outside, the wreckage of Dominion ships glittered faintly as it sank into the gravity well. Voss appeared at his side. You know what this means. They'll come heavier next time. I'm counting on it, Kane said. You sound almost eager. Not eager, he replied quietly. Just ready. She tilted her head. Think we can keep this up? Kane's mouth tightened. We don't need to win every battle. Just enough to break their certainty. Voss considered that, then nodded. Breaking certainty. I like that. Far across the void, Overlord Xyrix stood before a massive display of the Proxima skirmish, replayed through Dominion intelligence feeds. The loss of 3 frigates to prey was not catastrophic, but it was unexpected.